Good morning, good afternoon. I'm Anne-Laure Dufour from Bonitasoft. And today I have the pleasure to be with Joseph Coury from our French partner RS2I. And today Joseph will present you the use of Bonita for case management projects. So hi Joseph.
Hi Anne-Laure, hi everybody.
So Joseph, I'll let you run this webinar.
Okay.
Just some technical details for all the attendees. You have a question part in the GoToWebinar tool, so you can ask your questions in this tool, and we'll take the questions at the end of the webinar. And one last technical detail, this webinar is recorded, and you will be able to see it within few days on Bonita website. So Joseph, I'll let you start.
Okay, thank you. So we'll start with a PowerPoint just demonstrating the different aspects of BPM and case management. And just introducing me, I'm Joseph Coury. I manage a BPM SOA department for RS2I. RS2I is a Bonita partner since 4 years, so 4 years ago. We are specialized on BPM, BPMS, and case management projects. So RS2I is subsidiary of Neurons Group. Neurons is a French company, about 5,000 persons. Belongs to the top 10 of IT companies in France. Our customers, if you work, many banks, of course, insurance companies, but always TVs and energy as EDF, it's a French electricity group. So Bonitasoft and RS2I, you are premier partners since 2013. We work with Bonita on many projects, projects in the insurance domain. In Mediametry is a company who works with TVs and other customers too. And we are involved on BPM and case management projects. We have an entity, it's BPM SOA entity. It's dedicated to BPM and SOA ASP projects. So, what about BPM? I don't know if you are familiar with BPM here, but just I will introduce the most important case of BPM. BPM used to manage process in the companies, the business process management of all the process that make sense in the company. BPM is applied to streamline and automate business processes. So when we implement BPM processes, the target is to automate the most tasks as possible, integrating human and technical activities or human and technical tasks. A human activity, it's an activity that will be made by a person. And the technical activity, maybe it will be an IT service, a web service, or an update of a table in a database, or sending an email. So what we see that the most successful BPM solutions or projects are very human-centric. More often we have processes made of 1, 2, 3, or 4 tasks, but we let the persons who are in charge of this task to decide what to do. BPM solutions are highly applicable for implementing industrial processes or regulatory or management processes. So it's the case in France, but I think it's the case everywhere in the world. In banking activity, all the processes about KYC or AML or other, sorry, French words, can be managed with BPM processes or BPM solutions, sorry. what you see here is a presentation of a business process who is modeling with the BPM notation. I don't know if you are familiar with the BPMN, sorry. It's for business process management and notation. So we can see all the tasks that belongs to the process, human tasks and technical or automatic tasks. We can see the flow between the tasks, and we can see the actors who are in charge of these tasks. Sorry. So, what is the main approach that we can follow when we have to implement a BPM solution? The first step is the study, of course. We have to define the objectives of the project, the target, the organization, and to identify all the processes that have to be implemented in the BPM solution. Once the study is done, we have to model the process using BPMN. In the it will be a modeling or a modulation that can be used by the business and the IT teams. They can share this presentation just to make the IT to give the IT the information about the process that can be that will be modeled and implemented. The implementation of the process and the solution will be done with the solution you can choose. It will be Bonita in our case. Once the solution implemented, we have to execute it. So executed, does it mean the solution will be run in a production environment? Cases are created, cases are used, the process will be done, and once one month or 2 months later, we have to manage this process and to optimize it. Even we can notice we can have some deadlocks, many in some parts of the process. So we can we'll make a new version of the process to make it more fluent. Okay, it's a standard BPM approach. So what are the main lessons we learn from project using a process approach or a BPM approach? That the complexity is not always obvious at the process level. We rarely have been how can I say it? We have to implement processes containing a big number of tasks. Maybe the most complex process I have been doing will contain 5 or 6 or 7 tasks. Human tasks, of course. I don't speak about technical or automatic tasks. The distribution of activities to the right players is maybe the main complex part of a BPM project or a BPM solution, because it has to take in account appropriate organization. Each company has its own organization. It's not always easy to model them in a solution, in an IT solution. So the distribution can be complex and very sensitive because it impacts the work organization. The BAM for business activity monitoring is an essential part or an essential component of BPM solutions, because if you remember in the previous slide, we have to identify, we have to check if the process, if the implementation version of our process is the good one. The target of a BPM solution is to make the process the most fluent possible. So if we introduce complexity, if we introduce bottlenecks, the target will not be reached. An iterative approach is preferred over a big bang approach, because what could I say that the final version of a process is rarely the first one, and I can say the final version of a process is rarely reached, because the process will if we'll move, we'll change every day because the way of life change every day. So we have to introduce a flexible and adaptive approach to implement our processes. And this approach, it's the case management maybe is this approach. So if we continue, what is the case management or ACM, or for adaptive case management, or for advanced case management? As you see in the BPM, we always speak about processes. The process is the core of the approach. In ACM or in case management, the data, the case is the core of the approach. And this case, we how can I say it? We will react with other components who can be the data, the metadata, the attributes of the case, the tasks that can react, that can be made on the case. We can speak about security, because when you work for banks or for government or other, all the data of the case may not be showed or may not be modified by everybody in the company. So we have to implement security security features. Gestion, sorry, it's a French word because it's just a picture. It does mean how we can manage the process, the case. It's the management of the case. Événement, it's for events. In events, we have all the events that can interact with the case. So when an event interacts, maybe we will launch an automatic process, or we will indicate to the person in charge of the case that he has to launch a task, maybe. The tableau de bord, that means dashboard in English, sorry for the picture once again. It gives us information about the task, about the case. So what is it? It's a state, how many cases are pending, how many cases are finished, how many cases are refused or accepted. When we model BPM processes, we use BPMN, and for case management, we have another standard. It's called CMMN, for case management modeling and notation. I don't know if we'll take some time just to see the differences between the CMMN representation of the process and the BPMN representation. You see that here we have it's not sequential. We'll see the case, and on the case we will have to modelize all the possibilities that all the features that we will be able to make to do in this case. So what are the advantages of the case management? The first one is a big responsibility of the actors. The actor in charge of a case has a great deal. He knows what to do. So we will give him all the features, or the IT features that he will need to make the job, but we will let him decide if he wants to use them or not, and when he will use them. The management of the unexpected. A case management approach is more flexible than a BPM standard approach, because when we have to model a process with a lot of combinations, a lot of features to do, but the order that the features must follow is not defined at the start of the process. A case management approach is more appropriate than a BPM approach. The context adaptation. So we have rules. We can define what we call a state action. A case in generally will have a lot of we have states on his life cycle. When we create it, it's created, so it will be submitted. After that, it will be maybe paid, and after that it will be closed. So according to the different states, we will be able to launch specific processes or specific tasks depending on the state. Okay? The process control, when we use a case management approach, the process or the life cycle of the case is not known at the start of the but when the job is done and the state is closed at the end, we can if we have to supervise the process, the case. Sorry, there's some noise here. So we can see that the case has followed a process. We call that a shadow process. Okay. So the approach used to implement a case management solution or project are very similar to the BPM approach. So we have to model the business files, of course, to identify the different status and management rules that will be applied to the business file. We have to implement them in the case management solution. We have to deploy the solution and execute and use it in a production environment. We have to manage it and to optimize. What we see about optimizing processes is applicable to the case management also. So some lessons learned from projects using a case management approach. That the case management solutions or approaches are very appropriate for many banking processes, often for the back office processes. Example, claims management. The case management is an agile alternative derived from ECM for enterprise content management, and traditional BPM solutions. At the start, when we speak about case management, if we go 10 years ago, the case was based on a document, or on documents, many documents maybe. It's not always the case now. We can implement a case management solution with a case or a file just containing metadata, just containing data described what is a claim, what is a bill, what is a I don't know what else. Okay, case management allows a quick start in production, so the time to market is very short, because it is very appropriate for complex processes. We don't have to put a long time just to modeling all the processes of the solution, because we'll follow a generic approach, because we are sure that the actors who will use the solution will make the good decision. Of course, when we see an actor will make the good decision, we can and we have to implement controls that so we can check that when an actor submit his folder or his task, that all the information mandatory were fulfilled. When we say we will give more possibilities to the actors to decide which tasks or which processes they will launch on their case, does it mean that they can do everything they want and will not control what they are doing? Okay, so case management approach will accelerate the acceptance of the solution. The solution is based on business cases and the processes are more simple to implement than in the BPM standard approach. Okay, this one maybe you know we have two axes: the process complexity and the process unpredictability. So we see that we have CRM for customer relationship management, ECM, BPM, and at the end ACM. ACM will allows us to implement complex processes and above and the process they are very unpredictable. So just if we have to make a short comparison between a process approach and case management approach, in the use cases, as you see, the process approach is very suitable for predictive and repeatable processes, for distribution automation, of course, and the optimization of the business processes. In case management approach, it will be a good idea to use an ACM approach, an ACM solution for process requiring a great deal of agility. So, and a process that will contain a lot of possibilities, and we have a lot of tasks to do, and we don't know, and we don't have to fix only one way to only one order to execute these activities. The BPM approach is structured around processes and standardized processes. The ACM approach is structured around business and contextualized processes. The advantage of the solutions for BPM solution, if we reduce the time between key decisions and their effective implementation, we know our process, so we go. We have to implement it as it is decided. It reduces the risk of disconnect between the desired practices and the understanding of these practices. In ACM approach or case management approach, the focus is done around the case perspective. Okay? So, and it allows us to manage the unexpected. It's very important. I repeated a lot of times. ACM approach is a good approach if you want to manage what is unexpected. And the limits, sorry, as you see, BPM is not suitable for agility and flexibility. A BPM approach will be always more agile than a Java or a .NET programs, because we have a process we can always update it or make a new version of the process. So we can see that BPM approach is not an agile approach. It is, but it is less agile than a case management approach. So BPM and case management, we don't have to systematically oppose BPM and case management. We have a lot of solutions, a lot of projects we done that the two solutions are used, because when we implement an ACM approach, as you don't know if you remember, we say we can launch processes based on this case. And when you say a process, we can implement processes in an agile mode with the case management, but you can always implement processes with the BPM standard approach, because we have to control the execution of all the tasks that compose the process. So BPM and case management can act together. A business process in a case management solution or ACM will adhere to BPM standards and concept. It's what I say. So a numerous software solution on the market offer both types of features. But only the integration or the implementation approach will lead to a BPM or ACM type solution. You know, if you use Bonita and the studio to model your process, you can model a process in a BPM approach. You can define all the steps that compose your process, all the leaves, all the rules. But you can, if you want, adopt another approach, which would be an ACM approach, to implement the same solution. We can implement BPM or ACM with the same software. All the softs, of course, will not provide both of these features. Will not provide ACM or BPM features. So gone are the days when the core of a case management solution consisted of a digital document. Now we have case management solution based only on data. And the case management approach will help accelerating the digital transformation. So case management and Bonita. Can we use Bonita to implement case management solutions? So yes, we can. And why we can? Because first thing, we have an unlink of records and process instances. I don't know if you are familiar with BDM, business data model, or process. So we can define business objects in the BDM, and we can use these objects in one or many processes. So the business data is not how can I say it, is stored in the BDM structure and not in the process structure. So we can use we have the BDM, the business data model, for modeling the files, the case, and we can access the history of different actions related to a case. Okay. Two other things very important. We can manage the persistence, even if the task or the process is finished. The information stored in the BDM will persist, and we can use another software maybe to access the database where the BDM are stored, just to access the data stored in this BDM. Okay. So we'll in the last slide of the presentation, we will show you a very simple demo about how to manage requests in a banking environment. The model, we see it in a case management approach and not in the BPM approach. Okay. We have three main steps: the creation of the request, the treatment of the request, and the disbursement of the request. So I just start. I will create at the end of my session. I'm Joseph. It's the guy one, and I will. So we'll create a credit request. So I will put my name, my first name, I'm married. I'm not born on this set. I'm born on 1900. Oh, no, it's the why. I will see the truth. Well, I will make a French address. It's not the real one, huh? No, sorry. It's not important. So I fulfill my my request, personal information, the incomes, my incomes, why I want to request, and the amount I requested is 200,000 euros. So we have two requests, one for Anlar and one for me. I will take mine. I'm 48 years old. So now I work in the bank. I have received this request for Joseph Curie. Joseph is 48 years old, and as he is 48 years old, I have to maybe to ask. The system tells that I have to ask for a medical expertise. I don't remember of the values. I think if you have less than 35 years, no medical expertise are requested. Between 35 and 45 or 44, I'm not sure. We can say it would be better if we ask for a medical expertise, and if the client is have more than 44 or 45 years old, the medical expertise is mandatory. So I'm not able to accept and to do my job, the task, just because the medical expertise is not done. You know the approach. I have to. I can do it. I have to make a medical expertise, and I can make a technical expertise too. A technical expertise, that means the customer asked me to ask for request of 200. I don't remember the amount of my request. Are we okay to give it to give him this amount or not? So the medical expertise is mandatory. The technical expertise is not. I can make technical expertise now. Please, technical expertise. And I will ask François Boris. I have it finished. Okay. And I will do the medical expertise now. The order in which I decide, the order I decide to make the expertise is not important. I decide what I want to do. I will launch the technical expertise now, and I will launch the medical expertise later. Okay. So I have it. Is that the? Okay. I have it. Take this the good one. So as you see, this one, Anlar is 20 years old. So we say that technical expertise is not mandatory. But if I want, I can do it. If I want not, I can accept the request and continue the process without making the medical expertise. So I will accept your Anlar, and I will return to my request. Just remember, I'm 48 years old, and the medical expertise, that means yes in French, I'm sorry. Yes in English. So I will ask for a medical expertise, please, or exam. And I will choose Anne Cartier, who is the person who will have to do the medical exam. And if I connect with Anne Cartier, I have received a new task. The task is for Joseph Curie. So, okay, everything is okay. So condition no, comment no, and in favor. Okay, the task is done. the subtask is done. And I return to the request, and as I see, the medical exam has been done. It's in favor. So now I will be able to accept the request, and I will allocate the $200,000 or euros for 45. Sorry, 84. It's too late in France now. I have to go to sleep. And no comment. And I accept the task. And so we can continue. Just for the demo, the user logged in the system is able to treat all the tasks. It will not be the case in the real world. It's just we make it here, and not to go every time to disconnect and connect the solution again. So when the task has been accepted, now I have to give the money to the customer. And as you see, we have other actions possible on the folder because the state of the folder is now different. I don't know if you have remembered. I haven't showed to you. I'm sorry. The case when the file when it has been created was just created, and when I decided to accept it, it was pending, and I accept after doing the medical exams. I accept I accept the request of the customer. So now we have to give money. So what I can do is I have three actions that depends on the state of the folder. Now I can liberate totally. So I give the $200,000 requested by the customer to him. I will notify the estate lower, or I will liberate only a part of the process. Okay. So just to show you that the approach, when we have when we implement the case approach, the actions or the state actions that can be that can be do on the file or possible on the file depends on the state of the file. And I will show you other thing. I will create a new request. It's for Monsieur Dupont. Peter. Married. I don't know the zip code of Boston, I'm sorry. So the medical exam is mandatory because he's 61 years old. The status is created, that means created in English. So I will ask for the first medical exam. Okay, and I will ask Sarah Olivier to make it. And 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 days later, I just check my task, and I see that Sarah Olivier haven't made the exam yet. So maybe Sarah is absent. Second request, and I will ask my friend Anne Cartier to do it. Okay, and when I connect with Anne Cartier, I have the task, I receive the task, I say okay, okay, in favor, no more tasks here, and here I see that Anne Cartier gives the okay to call the request. So what I will show you here that when you are in a BPM approach, it's not easy to say that at this point of the process, I will launch 1, 2, 3, 4, or I don't know how many number of processes or subtasks or sub-processes. In case approach, I can do it. I may ask Anne Cartier 1 time, 2 times, or I can ask or I can ask Anne Cartier or maybe another person to make the job. So I decide when I will launch and if I will launch the sub-process or the process related to the folder, to the file. Okay? It's all that I want to show you. I don't know if it's okay, if you have questions, Anne-Laure. Hello?
Yes, do you hear me?
Yes, I finished. Okay.
So I can see a first question here. It's about the data. How did you manage the data used in the process?
The data are stored on the BDM. I can show you very quickly the BDM. I don't know if everybody is familiar with this. So we define an object. It's called demande de crédit. And in this object, sorry, because I have a small problem with my screen. No, I will close it and open it again just because I will put the webinar screens. Hello? Oh, what happened
If
here?
you put it in full screen?
Yes, it's the problem we have.
If you put this window in full screen, does it work better?
It's the case now.
In the attribute?
It's better, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can see for credit, we have the sorry, it's in French. I will translate it in German. But the name, the first name, the name, the date of birth, the place of birth, the familiar situation, the address, the zip code, and they are stored in the BDM. And if you access the database, you have a database behind this. You have all the cases, all the data that have been, all the cases that have been created. Maybe you remember main road. Here we use H2 database, but if you are using Oracle or SQL Server, we have a table in standard database that you can access with SQL standard utilities or applications that can use JDBC or other things. I don't know if I've answered the question or not.
I think yes, or for the person who asked, if you can give confirmation that it answered the question, or we can extend. Oh, he's saying it's okay.
It's okay. Thank you.
Okay, we have another question here. Is how can we show a list of cases in Bonita Portal? Is there a way to extend it?
So, it's a good question. When the demo we made, we use the standard Bonita interface, the portal, just to we have it developed in US screens just with the case approach. it will be possible. We can use another approach just to show the information that we start. We show the cases maybe after a search operation, or just you have two ways to show it. You see, the first is if the entry point is the case, you can search for a case, or just maybe access the cases in specific states. And in one of the case, you can see all the action, all the instance of actions or process that are related to the case. The approach that we use here, because as you know, we have made the demo on a very small time. We keep the portal. We haven't changed anything on the portal. So it's the entry. Sorry, I'm playing with my webinar Windows. It's not easy. We kept the portals in standard that you know. What we see is the task, and when we open a task, we open the case related to the task. It's we meet always the two possibilities, just accessing or accessing the data needed. Donc I resume. The first possibility is we access the data, starting just with searching, accessing the case, and once we are on a case, because you have your customer, he calls you, sorry, my name is Joseph, I want to check if my request is okay, not okay, or what. So we will search for Joseph. I see the case of Joseph, and when I have the data of Joseph, or the Joseph request, I can decide, okay, Joseph, it's okay or not. It's not pending. I need more information, or maybe I will launch an operation process on it. And the other way, I work on the back office of the bank. I have a job to do. There are many persons who can make the same job. We have the same profile, so we access all the tasks to do. I choose the first task, so and I have to do it. The first task will concern Anne-Laure. The second one concerns Joseph. So you have to decide the UE, the one you want. The two possibilities exist. The one with the task, starting with the task, is the standard of the Bonita Portal. If you will implement this version of Bonita, and know that maybe other possibilities, other features will be delivered in next versions of Bonita. Maybe you can develop your own screen, your own window, just accessing the file you search for, and once you are on the file, you can launch. You will access all the tasks related or based on this file.
Okay, so that's clear. We have someone who is not really asking a question, but he would like to see the diagram. Could you?
He have to pay for it, you know.
No, but maybe to show the decisions, so how we manage it. So maybe you will recognize that the studio is in French, but that is the same one that you are using on your side, but with French translation.
Okay, I want just to show an important thing, that you see that we have three different processes. We have the main process with the credit request creation. We have another process with the medical expertise, and you have another process with technical expertise. Just to show you, when I say why an ECM approach makes sense and delivers a time to market very short, that we have separate the many processes. We haven't modelized one process who will include all the possibilities. It's very hard to do. So here just we combine the user interface with the tasks. It's a demo. We haven't made all the things with the best practices we have to do. We just want to show how the approach, how the user interface will be different if we use a BPM approach or a BPM or a case management approach. So we have modelized specific processes, and medical expertise or technical expertise may be launched with for the credit request, or maybe we can use them for other processes, other business processes. So here, just to go quickly, we have implemented the decision here, but maybe in a project mode it will not be here. It will be done in or from the user interface or in other system. Will say us at this state of the folder, of the file, the possibilities are technical expertise, medical expertise, and I don't know what else. For you, Laure.
And I'm just adding something here. You, Joseph, of course you know, but I don't know if you all know that we have some possibilities also to do some live updates on the processes. So that's a functionality that is accessible in the administrator portal. So you can make some changes on the processes. You can change some parameters, may they be technical or business parameters from the process. You can change the forms, you can change the connectors, you can change the Groovy script, and you can change the actors. And if you have to make some change on some business rules that are used in this kind of choice of decision, of gateways, yeah, this is the word I was looking for, of gateways in the process, you could also use some business parameters that you could change from the portal. So this is how you can make your case management application more flexible and so more case management focused. Okay. We don't have any more questions for the moment. I'm just let 1 more minute if someone has a last question. So I think it's everything for today. So thank you a lot to all our attendees for attending this webinar. I hope you learned a lot about how to implement case management with Bonita. If you have any more questions, you can always send it to us, to Bonitasoft, or directly to Joseph Coury, our partner, and it will be a pleasure to answer you. And thank you a lot, Joseph, for presenting this.
Sorry for English, that it's not as fluent as I want, but it's hard these days.
Yeah, many times American people say, okay, it's a lovely French accent, so it's not. Okay, so thanks a lot for sharing your knowledge about this with everybody today. And so talk to you soon.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Goodbye.